In this episode of the Live Unrestricted podcast, you are going to learn the one extremely powerful yet so simple shift that you can make starting today to finally break free from body shame and criticism and feel at peace in your body. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Live Unrestricted podcast, a show where you'll learn how to heal your relationship with food and your body so that you can focus your time and energy on more important things like your personal growth. I'm your host, Sabrina Magna, food freedom coach, and my mission is to help make your life happier and healthier without stress, overwhelm, or guilt about food. If you love the show, please do go out and share it. And if you're looking for support with your relationship with food, details about my programs are in the show notes. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now let's jump in. Hello, my friend, and I'm so excited that you pressed play for this one because this is a really powerful episode. I'm doing one of your favorites, coaching over coffee. So I had a wonderful listener send me a DM on Instagram telling me that she loves these coaching sessions and asking if she could volunteer to do one because she's just gotten so much value from it and she wanted to give back to you guys, which is just so sweet and awesome. And if you wanted to be considered to be a participant in one of these coaching over coffee sessions, then if you are on my email list, then you will probably see emails whenever there is a spot that opens up. And if you're not on my email list, then make sure to get on that list so that you can stay up to date on how you can become one of these, volunteers, recipients of these coaching sessions. So this is a really good one. I don't want to give too much away, but we're talking about body image. We're talking about what to do when you are working on eating intuitively, healing your relationship with food, but there is still that nagging, anxiety-producing internal voice that makes you feel like your body is not good enough, it's not lovable, you're not going to fit in. We all know that voice. We all get annoyed with that voice, and you're going to learn in this coaching session what you might be doing wrong, some of the mistakes that people make when trying to get to a point of body peace and acceptance, and a really stupid simple shift that you can make starting today in the way that you approach body image that will completely transform your experience in your body, in your mind, with that little criticizing voice that you have on a daily basis so that you can be more loving, more gentle with yourself, and actually start healing from the inside out. So let me play that coaching session with our listener, Rebecca.
I've been this year really diving into intuitive eating. I've been basically recovering from an eating disorder for 25 years. And I have found so much freedom in intuitive eating. I think I've heard you say this before in your podcast, but it's simple, actually. It's been so much simpler than I thought. And even that, people have had me do in the past, like I've had people put me on meal plans, or I've had people, it's just with an eating disorder, you make eating so complicated. And this has just been the simplest, not to, be too punny, but intuitive thing. And it's been wonderful, but I'm really struggling with this kind of dichotomy that I'm having. So like intellectually and philosophically, I'm 100% on the intuitive eating train. I'm, honoring my body and cueing into the wisdom of it and that kind of thing. But at the same time, so many of my past selves have been completely driven by this idea that my body is this project that I need to fix and change. And I'm having so many moments of the day. I wouldn't say it guides my behavior anyway. I'm not, saving up my money for some cosmetic surgery. I'm not doing all these things to change my body, but I'm having all these moments throughout the day that I think my, eating disorder voice or this cultural project is having me like criticize my body and I'm feeling that as like a criticism of myself, and I'm fighting back with it so much and it's exhausting. It's almost like easier if you're like, fine, I feel bad about myself and I'm going to change my body. And I feel good every time I make an action towards changing my body. But what I'm doing is purposefully not changing my body, but living with this idea that's confusing. And it's just takes a lot of my mental energy. And I have a daughter and I want to prevent this as much as I can for her. And I feel like if I can just talk myself out of it, I just want to be so ready for that conversation that I had with my mom that if it had gone differently, I think my whole trajectory could have been differently. And so I want to be ready for that conversation with her. And I hope I can feel that ease that I feel with intuitive eating in terms of my body image too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So beautiful. And I took some notes because there's a lot of things in there that we're going to touch on. But what I'm really hearing is that this beautiful intention to when your daughter is at that time in her life, being able to embody that actual body acceptance and coming from a place of, like you said, like not just saying the words, but embodying that and being in this place where you're in this almost this internal tug of war where you're like, I know I feel this freedom. I feel this peace doing intuitive eating. I've never felt like eating was so easy. And there's a part of me that is pulling me back into those old mindsets when it comes to attaching my worth, my sense of success to the way that my body looks. And you're fighting with that part because you want to be able to have both feet in to really embody that intuitive eater that you know that you can be. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think when your body changes and your self changes, I know, the next part of my journey as a woman will be menopause. I want to be ready for that and greet those changes in a more peaceful way. And, my body's changed into becoming a mom. I want to embrace that. And I just want to move in the world in a less conscious way. And I don't feel like I'm questioning my behaviors, but it's this mental energy that I'm spending on it. This is difficult.
Let's touch on that. So you said something that really caught my attention, which is I keep fighting back with it. It's exhausting. And so this is where we want to start because I want to ask you if you were to think of that part of you that is criticizing your body, that is attaching your worth to it as a person, for example, a separate person, how do you feel towards that part of you?
I mean, I think it was a survival mechanism in many ways. And it was just concerned with belonging and love and being attractive. And everyone wants to be part of a community and feel like they belong. And, my Bibles of Health Magazine and Self and 17 in the 90s, this was what it was showing me. So I think I was following the rules and working hard to find what I thought was love and belonging.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I feel gentle towards it, but I am also like, I don't need that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not seeking that in that way.
Mm-hmm. Because that's a big thing is we all have these parts that are protecting us from something. And a lot of them, most of our parts that are rooted in that shame and the criticism and the judgment are based in the past. Because at some point in your life, that part of you was just a little girl who was trying to protect you from judgment, protect you from not fitting in. And the only thing that it knew how to do, which was convince you that if you look a certain way, if you lose weight, if you change your body, then you're going to feel that love and that acceptance. And that's what we want. That's what we all want. But the thing is that these parts of us that are trying to protect us often do it in a misguided way. And I'll use the example of, I'm sure that many people can relate to this, that perfectionist side of us. I experience that when I'm working, for example, and I want to create the best content, the best trainings, the best stuff for my clients. And I notice that that perfectionism starts to creep in. And what I used to do is get really annoyed, really angry with that part of me. Because in the same way that you know that that part of you that is criticizing your body is not serving you and it is taking up so much of your mental space, that perfectionist part of me was wasting so much of my time. And so I would tell Luke at the end of the day, I'm so frustrated because I know that this isn't helping me and I don't know how to stop it. And what I was doing is I was fighting with it. And that's often what we do is we fight with those parts of us that we don't like, that are bothering us, that are creating that exhaustion or that pain. And all that does is it creates more of an internal war, because when you are then criticizing yourself for having those thoughts and you are fighting against that part, that puts you in more of a stress response. That creates more dysregulation, more stress. And so that part gets even louder and it starts to feel like there's even more of a fight between you and that part of you that's just trying to protect you. Does that all make sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So what we want to do is we want to do something different, because as you said, which is so beautiful, I'm able to recognize that it had a purpose. It was trying to protect me, and I try to be gentle with it. But we have to ask ourselves and be really honest on those days when you are hearing that criticism, where you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're getting that voice that's saying you should change something, or you're not liking what you're seeing. Are you giving that part of you attention and care and having a dialogue with it?
No, I'm just trying to ignore it or brainwash it or brick wall it is what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not being gentle in any way. I'm like, what can I say to myself to dissociate from that part?
So you have a daughter. Imagine that your daughter, she has some needs that are going unmet. She's trying to communicate those needs with you. And she's young, so all she knows, she doesn't really know how to properly communicate them. And so it's more of like an outburst. And instead of getting down on your knees, saying, okay, let's calm down, let's have a conversation. I want to hear what you need from me. Instead, you did the same thing that you do to that part, and you say, I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to brainwash it. I'm going to put a wall against it. How do you think that your daughter would feel?
Yeah, just probably like an extinction burst, just get louder and feel terrible, misunderstood.
Right. And over time, she's not going to feel like her needs are getting met. And so she's going to act out more and more and more. And that's the problem. That's the thing that we all do. And I did it for the longest time because I was never taught this. We all have these parts of us, so many different parts that are trying to protect us, and they're trying to communicate certain things to us. And instead of paying attention to it, because maybe part of us thinks that if we pay attention to it, we're giving power to it and it's going to just get louder and stronger. So we do the opposite. We're like, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to push it down. I'm going to put a wall. But that does the opposite. It just makes it stronger and louder and more persistent. So what we want to do is the counterintuitive thing. And we want to open up a dialogue. We want to let that part be seen, be heard, because for the longest time, it was trying to protect you. And she doesn't know that you don't need that protection anymore. She doesn't know that you are a grown adult that has all of these new skills, capabilities, support system, mindset abilities. She doesn't know any of that. And so every time that you just kind of push her aside, you're not allowing her to see where you are now, what you're capable of. And so, of course, she keeps coming back because she thinks that she's trying to protect you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess my fear has been that she will drive. I don't want her driving anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want her anywhere near the behavior controls.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that you have this fear that she's going to drive and that she's going to control your behaviors.
Yeah.
But even though she's not affecting your behaviors right now, she's still driving because she's there every day and she's creating that anxiety and that stress. And so if what we're doing right now isn't working, then we have to try something else. So if we were to open a dialogue with this part of you, and do you allow me to kind of talk to that part of you, the
Yeah.
one who is creating that body criticism and shame?
Yes.
Okay. So if you were to, instead of pushing it down, you were to say, okay, I hear you. I see you. I see that you're here with me right now. I see that you're trying to protect me right now. So let me talk to you. Let me give you some attention. Let me give you some care and really bring in that gentleness that you would bring to your daughter, to someone that you love so much, and open up that dialogue and say, okay, what are you feeling right now? And what do you need from me? So tapping into that part of you and just seeing what comes up. When you tap into that part of you right now, the one who always convinced you that your worth and your sense of success was tied to your body, and you ask her, what would you like to tell me right now?
Probably that I'm really scared. I'm scared that you're not going to be loved or accepted,
Mm-hmm.
that
And
you can't let go, that you need to really pay attention to the details
mm-hmm.
and like just hold on really tightly because things could change quickly.
How old is that part of you?
Probably like 11.
Mm-hmm. So at 11, she really did think you need to pay attention to everything that you do. You cannot possibly let yourself go. And she's really scared. She's really scared that if she is in a different body, then she's not going to get that love. And if you think about an 11-year-old, they're not the best at making decisions, right? There's a reason why they're not the drivers of the household. They're not the ones making decisions most of the time because they shouldn't. They shouldn't have the burden of making those decisions. But that 11-year-old is stuck in the past. And that's what often happens is we have these parts of us that are stuck in the past and they never get updated information about where you are right now. Because if you were to then understand and thank that part of you, thank you so much for letting me know that you are scared and that you're really scared that I won't be able to handle whatever comes my way, right? Like
Yes.
that's a huge fear. Is she
Yes.
thinks she has it on her back?
Yes. Exactly what you just said. That is my invasive thought that comes up, not just with food and eating and body image, but that is when something difficult happens. My first invasive thought is, I can't handle this.
Okay. And if I were to ask you, and you don't necessarily have to tell me, but at this point in your life, you've lived quite a few years on this earth. You've probably experienced quite a few hardships. And if I were to ask you as a homework to write down 20 things that were tough that you were able to handle, would you be able to do that?
Yes, I can handle this. Yes. I mean, that's what I'm having this, yes, dialogue back and forth of trying to talk back to that. I can handle this. I have a lot of evidence to the contrary that I can handle this.
Hmm. But when you're talking back to someone instead of talking with someone, the conversation is going to go really differently, right? Because when you're
Yeah.
talking back to someone, you're trying to prove your point. You're trying to show someone that you're right. And I don't know about you, but I've been in conversations where someone has been not ready to listen, doesn't want to hear my point, just wants to prove that they're right. The conversation is not usually very productive, right?
Yeah.
So being able to even visualize yourself getting on your knees and having a conversation in the same way that you would with a child and having a conversation with her saying, hey, I hear you. I want to hear what you have to say. You're not wrong, because she's not wrong. She is right for where she is as an 11-year-old stuck in the past. And so she's not wrong. You're not wrong, but you want to show her, hey, I hear you. I see you, I care for you, and I get what you're doing. And I'm an adult now. You might not know that yet. You might not see that yet because I've been putting a wall between you and I. Instead of being a parent, I've been a martyr. I've been pushing you down. But look at me now. And something I love doing, because I used to do this. I used to push things down. And now whenever I have those days of anxiety or doubt or fear, what I do is I take out my pen and a piece of paper in my journal and I write down, what do you need to hear? Or what do you want me to hear? How are you feeling right now? What's coming up for you? What fears are you experiencing right now? And then I'll just write it all out. And what I'll often see is that that part of me that's stuck in the past has no idea how badass I am now. And that's the same for you. She has no idea how responsible and how much you are able to handle things, because instead of showing her with love and compassion and bringing her along and showing her your beautiful relationships, your friendships, your support system, all the things that you've been able to handle, even taking her on a day with you, you've just been talking back at her and say, no, I can't handle it. Go away. Is this making sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Anything
You're on
coming
it.
up for you?
I think it's just, it resonates a lot. I think I'm capable of intense compassion and gentleness towards everyone else except myself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think like I'm really good at dissociating, hone that skill. And I see also that I'm still doing it. That's been my coping, I think, with this
Mm-hmm.
issue has been just ignore, push down, distract, which is good at times, but that's something I'm working on is I'm feeling a big feeling and let me face it head first and explore it. It's not my initial reaction,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So much of this has just been trying to change, yeah, my initial reaction. And I found it, for some reason, I found it easier to do with my behavior. And I'm hoping it just becomes sort of, you know, a fake it till you make it sort of thing. But obviously, yeah, I need some tools like
Yeah.
that specific tool, having a dialogue in a compassionate way. I haven't done that.
Mm-hmm. And the fake it till you make it, right? Changing your behaviors without changing that internal resistance that we feel in our nervous system, in our mind, that's only going to last so long. Because yeah, you can change your behaviors, but if you feel like you're being eaten up inside on a daily basis, then we're not really healed, are we? And so that's one of the biggest, I would say the biggest blind spots that people have when they start doing this work is that all we can see is people's behaviors. So we look at what do I need to do differently without looking at, well, what are the thoughts, the emotions, the subconscious patterns that I need to rewire, that I need to learn how to do that differently. And those things aren't visible. So that's why it's hard to be able to really mimic that. So I want to go back to something that you said, which is it is so much easier for me to have compassion for others than for myself. And that, again, is a protection mechanism. There's a part of us that believes that if we are hard enough on ourselves, if we beat ourselves up enough, if we criticize enough, then we're more likely to stay in line. We're more likely to change and to do things differently. When the opposite happens, because the harder we are on ourselves and the more we criticize and the higher our bar is for ourselves, well, then the harder it is to meet those expectations. And then you're running around with this whole slew of negative internal self-talk. And the way you talk to yourself becomes your beliefs that you hold about yourself. So if every day you hold these beliefs, these negative beliefs about what you can't do and how little you're doing, or just how much you're falling short, then that's going to become your reality. Your beliefs create your external reality. And the more, and I know because I used to be really, really hard on myself, I know that the more you show yourself grace and compassion and kindness, what's going to happen is that you will genuinely want to take care of yourself. You will genuinely want to be kind to yourself and implement these healthy behaviors, these healthy mindsets, because you want to, because you know that you deserve it, because in the same way that you don't have to force yourself to take care of your daughter, you don't have to force yourself to tell her how amazing and beautiful and just wonderful she is, because you love her so much. It's not something that you have to do. It's something that you want to do. Am I right in that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that stops me in the pursuit of being more compassionate to myself is that our culture really thrives on this capitalist, hyper productive, ignoring of yourself factory model. And along with that, the way that we treat women as, objects to be looked at, I feel like I'm trying to be in opposition of so many factors outside of my control with that. And I have a shaky past with, just a strong sense of self in some ways, not all, but so I I have to just look within. I just cannot look outside for so many things.
That's the work,
And
isn't it?
yes, yes. And when you're so good at dissociating, you believe that within is like a dangerous place that you can't get too far inside because it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
So you look outside so much. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a rearranging of my perspective in all ways, I guess.
Yeah. So, two things to say there. We're always going to live in a world that's going to try to tell you how to live, who to be, what you are to other people. And when you realize that you first have to change in order for the world around you to change, you cannot wait for the world around you to rearrange itself, because it starts with you. The amount of things that I've had to do that goes against the current, against what is normal or perceived as the quote unquote right thing to do. And like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's about having this such a solid sense of self that I know who I am I know what is in alignment with me. I know what makes me happy. And that is the ultimate goal, is how do I find who I truly am? When I shed all of the layers of who society tells me that I am, that I should be, that I should want, and really come in alignment with me. And that comes with time, but making yourself a priority and unapologetically doing the things that make you you, make you unique. If you feel lost, if you feel like you don't know what the next step is, good. It means that you are walking on your own path that someone else hasn't walked yet. And that's the way that it should be. You shouldn't be looking outside of you to see what other people are doing, what's right for them, because if you try to do what's right for someone else, well, it's not going to work for you because you are your own person. So being able to have that conviction of, I will make myself happy regardless of what other people think, because at the end of the day, those people won't be there. You're the one who's going to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with yourself. And there was something else that you said that I am now, oh, yes, the dissociation and the fear of what might I find or feel. You don't want to jump right into the deep end, but we do want to start with these small baby steps. So it could be, I really want to leave you with some action steps. So from this point on, when you notice that voice, that criticism, that body image shame, instead of pushing it down, ignoring it, or trying to fight against it, really imagine you. And I know that you love your daughter so much. So I think that she would be a really great person to imagine the way that you talk to her, the way that you soften around her when she needs you, when she needs your love, and open yourself up to that part of you. And you're going to notice that it might not be as scary as you think, because that part of you is just a younger version of you. And so opening yourself up to that part of you, opening that dialogue, seeing what she needs, what she feels, and what she needs from you. And if you notice that the first time it's like, whoa, okay, this is a lot, great. So you just opened up and you let her know, I'll come back to you. This is not the first time. And don't expect it to be like, okay, a week of talking to that part of me and she's gone. That's probably not how it's going to work.
No.
But you have a trust to rebuild, because it's been years, decades of that part of you not feeling seen or taken care of. And so just in the way that any relationship needs some time to rebuild that trust, allow that trust to be rebuilt. And over time, you want to bring that part with you and show her you're not being left in the past, you're not being left behind, but I'm just going to show you how great my life is now, that even if my body does change, look at all the love I have in my life that is independent of the way that my body looks. And you just want to keep reassuring her that you can handle whatever comes your way from this point forward.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, definitely. I hadn't even thought about the way that I respond to it. I really thought that the key was just having the perfect argument against it. I do think that evidence makes a lot of sense, just sort of like, yes, this is not true. And I knew independently, yes, it served a purpose and I've explored that, but I didn't think about kind of warmly and gently greeting it in that way. I just really thought that it needed to be extinguished. And so, yeah, I think that's a doable thing.
Amazing. And you said a really important word, which is evidence, because your nervous system does learn through evidence. It learns and it heals through experiences that shows you that it's safe. So all of those times in your life when you do feel safe, when you do feel loved and accepted, you want to be like, hey, to that part of you, look how loved I am. Look how supported I am. And the more you do that, the more it's going to feel safe to let go of that protection mechanism and to step into the role that it actually wants to have, which is to have fun. As an 11-year-old, you don't want to have that burden of being a protector for the family. You want to be able to have fun. And so once it can release that burden of trying to protect you, you're going to notice that you can have so much more fun energy flowing through you, creativity, compassion, ability to help others, because that burden is no longer going to be pulling you down.
Yeah. What about sort of she's concerned with fitting in, being just like everyone else? That doesn't resonate with me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do I talk to that part other than just like, that's not really important anymore? Like, what's a gentle way to approach that?
In the same way that you would talk to her about any other fears that she has. Hey, I hear you. Because when you were 11, the most important thing in the world was fitting in. I remember, oh my goodness, in elementary school and high school, I would change my entire personality if it meant fitting in. And now I don't relate to that either. So showing her that you understand why at one point it was life or death. It was one of the most important things in the world to do. And then to show her why now fitting in, it's not important. To show her ways in which I know personally fitting in is a really negative thing when it comes to business, because when you're fitting in, you're not being yourself and you're not standing out for who you really are. And so I don't care about fitting in. I care about aligning with the right people in my life and fitting out of the people who aren't meant for me. And so showing her that, showing the people who are in alignment in your life, your friends, your relationship, that's what matters to you, because fitting in is no longer life or death. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a very simple thing that you can start focusing on. And I would love for you to keep me updated about how that goes and give it some time, right? It's going to be a daily practice of checking in with her. It could be 2 minutes of 5 minutes and having that internal dialogue and showing her just how safe, loved, and accepted you are. And then see how that transmutes into a different kind of energy for you.
I will. I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah,
So do you feel like you have some clarity moving forward?
I do. I mean, I think that everything is about not hiding anything and bringing it to light and not feeling shame. And that just transfers to this situation too. I think I was just trying to hide that part
Mm-hmm.
and feeling like, oh, I'm just ashamed that this is still going on in my mind. I'm beyond this sort of thing. I shouldn't even feel this way. I would never admit to anyone that I have these thoughts, but I think bringing it out and shedding light on it and not being afraid to just look at it completely is going to be really helpful.
Yeah, if there's one message I want to leave all you listeners with, avoidance, ignoring, pushing down, it might work temporarily to pretend that those things don't exist, but it is never, ever, capital word letters, ever a long-term strategy for healing. We want to progressively learn how to look at those things, how to show them compassion, how to let them have a voice so that then we can transmute them into something else. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for being here and for being so open. I'm sure that this can be so helpful for all the listeners.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I've learned so much from you. One thing that stuck out to me was that you said when you go to parties that you said, everyone's so excited that I'm here.
Yeah.
And I started doing that just in any place that I feel anxious. And it's such a great strategy.
Right?
It does make you feel like I'm meant to be here. And I can bring joy to someone here. So I really love that. I want to thank you for that.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, it just the mindset you bring into a social event will completely change your energy. So thank you for sharing that. I forgot that I had shared that. Yeah, so thank you. That's amazing. Rebecca, this was really just such a treat to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hey, real quick before you go, if you're loving this podcast and you're thinking, Sabrina, I want more. I want to go deeper. I want a step-by-step process for healing my relationship with food. I've got a free workshop that literally walks you through it. It's a full breakdown of the exact method that I use to help my clients stop binging, heal emotional eating, and finally feel at peace with food in their bodies. It's totally free. So if you're ready to stop feeling obsessed and out of control with food, head to sabrinamagnan.com/training or find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found it valuable, I would love if you would share it with someone you know that could benefit. If you're loving the show, don't forget to subscribe over on Apple Podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. I really love hearing feedback from you, so please leave a rating and review over on Apple to help us get in the ears of more people who need it the most. Finally, come hang out with me on Instagram at Sabrina Magnan Health for more educational content and get up close and personal with me. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next episode.